right. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. I'm your host, Bill Barhydt, founder and CEO of Abra, and your host for the next few minutes. Today, we're going to do an in-depth look and update at the CPRX Crypto Perx token. We're going to give an update on Abra Perx, our rewards program that takes advantage of CPRX. Crypto Perx, or CPRX, as I said, is the rewards token we use here at Abra. We're going to get into all of the ways we can earn CPRX. We're going to give you some reveals on some super cool stuff we've been working on here in the labs at Abra. I'm going to bring on some of the team members that are managing this behind the scenes. I've got Julian Hardy from the Crypto Banking Alliance here, who we'll bring out in a few minutes. As I said, we're going to show you some really cool stuff. I'm going to hopefully have some time to answer questions. So if you are participating live right now, you can tee up your questions on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We should be able to get to a few of them now or possibly later in the AMA section. Okay, so without further ado, let's bring in the awesome Abra team. We've got Priya Chawla, Deepak Ghosh, Cole Dunbar, representing the product and marketing teams at Abra. Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing?
Good, thank you, Bill.
All right, great to have you all here. I think we've got a few parts of the country represented. So what we're going to do for everyone is we're going to get right into it. We've got a pretty awesome update. So I know that you all have been working really hard on this, and so let's just get right into it. Priya, you run a product team that's focused on Abra rewards. Cole, you're looking at all of the marketing efforts. I know we've got a lot of stuff going on now, even on college campuses that some of our users here may not know about. And of course, Deepak, you run everything product for us at Abra and have a bird's eye view of everything going on. So we've got the perfect team here to get into all of your questions, all of your comments, and just do a great update. So I'm going to share my screen here for Mr. Wizard so we can get going. And as you can see, we've got an Abra Perx and CPRX update all good to go for you. Okay, so what is CPRX? So let's get into let's cover the basics first. Okay, so Abra partnered with the Crypto Banking Alliance, which is a Swiss-based nonprofit that creates and promotes an ecosystem for what we call crypto banking, which is storing, trading, earning interest on, borrowing against, and paying with crypto assets. And they've created this CPRX utility token in order to help facilitate that. Abra was the first large recipient of CPRX from the Crypto Banking Alliance, and we used that to build the Abra Perx rewards program, which all of us here participate in. And CPRX is an ERC20 token built on Ethereum. And the tokenomics are very straightforward. The total minted at launch was 3 billion, and Abra's grant was 1/3 of that, and the alliance holds the rest, and then is free to basically make other grants, which I'm sure we'll get into with Julian in a few minutes. All right, so Priya, why don't you explain to us how CPRX works at Abra today?
Okay, thanks, Bill. So essentially, the way it works is we give rewards to our users for using and doing qualifying activities in Abra app. So if you're trading, if you have assets in Abra Earn, or if you have a loan with Abra, we're essentially giving you cash back on your trades. We are giving you a yield boost for your Abra Earn assets, and you're getting a discount on your loans. So if you have like a 0% LTV loan with Abra, you're getting rewarded for borrowing a loan. And the more we have essentially a tier structure in our Abra rewards program, which means the more rewards you hold with Abra, the better benefits you get, which means your cash back and your yield boost and your discount on your loans gets higher as you progress through the tiers. We have 5 tiers in our rewards program based on how much CPRX you have in your Abra account. and you can buy and sell CPRX from your Abra app just like any other asset today.
Yeah, awesome. Now, I don't want to give it away yet because we're going to get into it in the next few minutes, but we do have some super cool stuff that you, Priya, and your team have been working on in terms of earning yield, staking CPRX, and also some of the trading features that we're going to be launching. So we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so Cole, my understanding is that we've had an overwhelming response to Abra Perks and participation in the CPRX community. You want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the US in particular?
Yeah, that's right. Since we launched CPRX in November, we've seen over 300,000 members participating in Abra Perks in the CPRX program. And the really amazing thing is that we're seeing members in our two highest tiers, the Orbit and to the Moon tier. They're not only have they held all the CPRX that has been rewarded to them for their actions, but they're buying more of it. So we're seeing all of our top members in the US have ended up with more CPRX than we've actually given them. 80% plus in cruise, 50% plus in launch, and our lowest tiers we're also seeing a lot of awesome hodling behavior. And then all of our members with more than $5,000 worth of assets are in that same boat. So we're seeing across the spectrum of our users, from the mega whales to the average Joes, people are holding and buying CPRX.
Wow. So basically what you're saying is that the people who have the most assets in Abra, the most money in Abra, are effectively not selling CPRX at all. And in fact, they're actually buying more in preparation, I guess, for staking.
Yep. It really shows the community excitement for Abra Perks and CPRX. Yep. And then some of our biggest holders are countries like US, Philippines, United Kingdoms, Canada, Switzerland, Austria, Netherlands, and Mexico. It's really exciting seeing this global support for this program that we've launched and put so much work into.
That's awesome. So in other words, the whales are hodling, as we would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, so actually, before we get to some of the features, this begs the question. Okay, and I'll address this, I guess. So we have seen like the price fluctuate a lot, and if whales are hodling, if whales are buying more CPRX, why did the price fall the last few weeks? And so I've looked into this a lot, and basically the people who have most of the money in Abra are, like we have a lot of wealthy customers in the US and in Europe, Canada, et cetera. And these people are not holding. We do have a lot of new users who have gotten actually hundreds of thousands, as Cole mentioned, of new users who have gotten the $25 reward in Asia, in Latin America, in India. And we've seen a lot of those people try to sell the $25 reward right away. And that's put a lot of price pressure on that. As that program comes to an end, I'm not here to make price predictions for CPRX. I'm just here to answer questions. And I'm seeing a lot of that question online. I think as that program ends, we will see some of that price pressure devolve, which is actually, since it ended yesterday, we've already seen a significant spike in the CPRX price. Again, I'm not here to shill CPRX in terms of price. I'm all about the utility, but it is a question that we're getting. Okay. So Deepak, we've already got a lot of really cool stuff live with CPRX, and I know you've been one of the driving forces behind this. Why don't you explain to us the basic concept of the loyalty tiers and what you're actually getting from a utility perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bill, for having me. So as Priya mentioned, we have a rewards program that we call Abra Perks, and the core of it is your CPRX utility token. And as you can see on your screen, the entire tier structure is based on how much CPRX you're holding. And the more you hold, the more essentially benefits that you get. And we want to tie the utility of CPRX into everything that we do at Abra. So today that's trade, earn, and borrow. But as you would see in the following slides, there's going to be so much more that you can expect from Abra in the coming year. And CPRX is going to be at the center of everything. Just based on where we are today, especially given the program that we're running with 1% cash back on trades for everybody, effectively you're getting paid to trade with Abra, and that's amazing. And you will see even further down the road, there's going to be the features around trading launching that's gonna help you make even more money with Abra. And so just the recent development that we had that we were all very excited about is that we made significant improvements to our trading platform that allowed us to lower our trading spreads quite significantly. And I'm here to tell you that these spreads, although are very, very low today, these spreads are going to get even lower, dramatically lowered when we launch exciting features that are coming up in very soon.
Yep. Okay, so we've got really low trading spreads where effectively with the CPRX back, you're either trading for free or possibly making money. And now we've basically got marketing programs that take advantage of CPRX as well. So Cole, my understanding is we've now got this really cool trial that we're running in the US on a bunch of college campuses. And we've got this sticker program going on at the same time in the US. You want to explain what's going on here? It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we've talked about our referral program in the US, and this is an improvement to that program where we're giving our users more tools to share their love of Abra. This sticker program, users in the United States can go on to abra.com/sticker and use the code GOABRA to get 25 free custom print stickers with their own personal referral code on it. And so you can put these stickers on places like public message boards, your laptop, your phone, and just this is a way to help generate referrals and share your love of Abra with your friends, family, and coworkers. And this offer is still for the US only. $25 in CPRX when you make a referral. And then when that person you refer funds their account and holds for 7 days, you and the friend will earn $25 with the limited time bonus for your friend of $15 for funding their account for the first time.
Yep.
And then this campaign is also, we brought it to college campuses. We're doing some outreach to young students who will be the next generation of crypto holders and crypto investors. And so we're really excited to bring our reach broader to university students and help all of you make referrals and share your love of Abra.
Oh, that's fantastic. So my understanding is we're live now in Los Angeles, Miami, New Orleans, maybe Austin. We've got all the kind of warm weather college campuses underway, and hopefully as this program bears fruit, we'll expand to other campuses as well, right? Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yep, exactly. So as we're getting into spring, we'll expand to more campuses as more people start getting outside and getting back into the world. Yep,
that's awesome. Very cool. So those of you in the US, if you go to abra.com/sticker, you can actually order some stickers and you can earn CPRX by getting your friends in different locations. Obviously, we don't want you vandalizing other people's property, but if it's in a place where you're allowed to put up a sticker, feel free to do so. And I've seen them already on some of these college campuses that I visited to check out the program. Super cool. So, okay, now let's have a little bit of fun. So for those of you who got up early or maybe you're late at night in Asia, we're going to thank you for joining us with a little bit of a peek at what's coming with Abra. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is staking. So Priya, it looks like we're going to launch a 3% interest rate. Do you want to explain to us how this is going to work?
Yeah. Thank you. So very soon, you'll have the ability to earn more staking rewards on your CPRX balance in Abra app. So today, for example, you have certain amount in your stable coins and you're earning 8%. You're getting 2%. You will yield booster if you're in a certain tier in the orbit. And then on top of that, whatever balance you have in your CPRX balance you have. So if you have 5,000 or 10,000, you can essentially earn an extra 3% CPRX on top of that by essentially moving it to your earn account, and there's no lockouts or limits. So this is an amazing, like one of our first efforts to essentially increase the utility of CPRX with our Abra community.
Yep. The other thing I'm seeing in the screen, and some people might be watching the YouTube or live stream on Facebook in a smaller screen, so maybe you can't see in the Abra app on the screen, I actually see my bonus interest rates across all of the different assets I'm holding, Bitcoin, Ethereum, my stable coins. So what's going on there?
So essentially, we have enhanced our Abra Earn experience. So on all your assets, you earn an in-kind yield. And on top of that, based on your tier, you get a yield booster. And so now when you look at the screen, you essentially can very easily understand for all your assets, what is it that you're earning in kind and what you're earning in CPRX. So you can see your effective yield is much higher than what it used to be. Yeah. That's what this gives much clarity, brings much more transparency for our experience and users. And that's what we've improved along with launching staking in a few weeks.
Fantastic. Okay, so now how does this work? Walk me through a simple example. So Alice buys 5,000 CPRX, what happens? Or Alice holds 5,000 CPRX that she earned, what happens now?
So Alice has 5,000 CPRX, available balance of CPRX in her Abra account. What she's going to do is the way you actually move funds or move assets to your earn account, you're going to follow the same process. And once we launch it, we'll obviously give you more education around how exactly it works. She can move 5,000 to Abra Earn, 5,000 CPRX, and she is going to get 3% on top of that 5,000. So whatever her assets are, she's earning. Let's take stable coins as an example. She's going to keep earning 8% on her stable coins, 2% yield booster for being in orbit tier, and 3% on her 5,000 CPRX balance. So wow. You're earning a lot more than what you used to.
So I need to move my 5,000 CPRX over to Abra Earn, just like I moved my Bitcoin over to Abra Earn.
Exactly.
And then I start earning, I continue to get the booster on the Bitcoin, but now I get a booster on the CPRX itself of another 3%. Right. So basically, if I'm holding 5,000 CPRX, I'm basically getting like 150 or so CPRX for free every year, more or less. Is that more or less correct?
Yes. So there are three components to it, right? There's your yield booster to your Bitcoin. There's the bonus rewards that are your earning from Abra Earn rewards. And then there's the 150 extra CPRX you're going to get from essentially staking your CPRX balance.
Yep. Super cool. Okay. So we'll see, we're going to start a little on the low side with the CPRX rates at 3%. We'll see. We want to basically make it fair for everyone. And we'll see what the market conditions allow us to do with the rates over time. Thank you for that, Priya. Okay. So Deepak, this is going to be cool. This is something you and I have been talking about with the product team and engineering team for a long time. And now we finally get to talk about it with everyone. I've hinted at it. So let's get into it. What are market orders and how does that affect CPRX?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. This is very exciting. As you mentioned, we've been looking forward to market orders and limit orders for a long time now, and we've heard very clearly from our customers that they need this as well. And so here we are. So market orders is coming to Abra in April, and you might already know what market orders are. But it's going to launch with even more benefits. So, for instance, market orders are going to launch with zero spreads. You might know that today we have a 5 BTC trading limit, 24-hour trading limit today. And with market orders, that's essentially going to be eliminated. We are also launching a concept called price safety, which I'll get into that a little bit. but that helps you, against any sort of volatile markets as you're trying to place
this
your
price
trades.
safety feature is super cool, and I definitely want to get into this a little bit. But just to explain to people, so market orders are close to what we have today, except we're basically doing some funky stuff in the background to be able to fulfill your orders, which puts an artificial limit on how much you can trade at any given time. It also means that on occasion, if the markets are moving like crazy, especially if you're trading some funky altcoin, that you might get a bad price if you're trying to buy a lot or sell a lot at the same time. All of that should be eliminated now, and you should be able to buy and sell in quantities as much as you want. Did I get that right?
Exactly. And what you characterize as the funky stuff is all designed to help the user make the most out of their trade. So when we say continuous guidance, when we say price safety, these are all things that you can configure on your end, depending on how much risk you want to take. But we do recommend to you what you need to do in order to save the most money.
Awesome.
And that is an that I honestly haven't seen in any of our competitors.
Yep. I've been trading most of my adult life. I've been trading crypto since you could. I've never seen a service be in a position to tell me that I might be getting, let's say, screwed on a price because of large market movements, which has nothing to do with Abra. It's just a function of what's happening in the market. So take a minute and explain to us this idea of price safety. We'll get into it more when the service launches, but give us the basics now.
Yeah. So with price safety, let's say you're trading a pair that's very, very volatile. So at the time that you see an estimated market price on your screen and you hit that button and the order gets executed, there is a lag. There's a natural lag that happens between when you say, I want to order that, and when the actual order gets placed in the order books and gets executed. If you're in a volatile market, that lag is enough for the price to jump dramatically from what you saw on your screen and what that gets executed at. And so what price safety does, if you basically turn that on, which is going to be on by default, you are never going to get a price that is any worse than 1% that you see on your screen. And that essentially tells you, that's basically what we characterize as your downside risk, is that your maximum downside risk in a volatile market is 1%. And you're not going to lose any more money than 1% for a given variable. And again, this is only applicable to volatile markets. Stable markets you won't even see it. But for your altcoins and some of those volatile markets, this is definitely going to help you save a lot of money. And we will recommend to you when we see that this is going to happen.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. So market orders, basically in English, I want to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Abra buys it for me at the current spot price. It just happens in the background. My spread versus what I see on the chart should be zero or close to zero. And Abra just makes it happen, and I can do it in unlimited quantities. Okay, so that's market orders. I got it. So now, super cool, something we've never had at Abra before. Let's talk about limit orders. So what's going on with limit orders?
Yeah, so limit orders, exactly what you already might know about limit orders is basically you have full control over the price at which you want to buy a certain asset or sell a certain asset. So you essentially specify a price at which you want to buy or sell an asset, and we will make sure that you make that trade happen at that price or better.
Yep.
And again, all the benefits that you get with market orders in terms of limitless trading, you're going to get with this as well, and zero spreads as well, like true zero spreads with limit orders. That is going to introduce fractional, I want to say fractional, very competitive fees that, if you choose to pay your fees with CPRX, you're going to get a huge discount on that as well. So again, the point being that you still make money every time with Abra, whether it's market or limit orders. The big advantage of limit orders is that you have way more control over the price at which you want to make the trade than orders.
Got it. So let's do a real example. So now I want to buy more CPRX, but I don't want to pay 4 cents. I want to pay 36 cents or 35 cents. Okay. Or I'm sorry, 3.5 cents. Okay. So I would actually tell Abra app, I want to buy $1,000 worth of CPRX, but I want to pay no more than 3.6 cents per CPRX. And Abra will only buy if it reaches that price and automatically fill as much as it can until my order is filled. Is that more or less right?
That is exactly right. And what needs to be stressed here is that order might not fill for the volume that you just said that I want to buy 5,000 CPRX. It might not fill at the same time, but without any intervention from you, Abra will keep trying to fill your 5,000, whatever the volume of the asset is, without you doing any sort of intervention from your end. And we will keep trying. We'll do multiple fills until the entire order gets filled.
Right. So now let's say I'm holding a whole bunch of Bitcoin that I bought in 2018. I made a lot of money and I slowly want to sell a little bit of it. I can also say, hey, if the price of Bitcoin hits 49,500, sell, 3 Bitcoin. And same thing, it'll try to sell that 3 Bitcoin at that price as long as there's demand in the market.
Exactly. And the point being, if you are bullish or bearish on a certain asset and you want to place your trades ahead of time and you don't want to just, look at the market and then go place an order right away, and you want to basically plan your trades out, limit orders is perfect because depending on where you see the market going, you can just place the trades, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Fantastic. And because Abra is doing this for you at a specified price and there's zero spread, Abra takes a tiny fee, but what's really cool is you can pay that fee in CPRX, if I understood you correctly.
That's correct, and that would give you even more discounts, and that's why it's important to note that regardless of what tier you are in, it's very likely that you're still going to make money with Abra every time you trade.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of virtual applause on market and limit orders, so this is a big hit online. I'm seeing it right now, so very cool. Okay, so we're going to give a little bit away here. And so I spend personally a lot of time. I don't spend all my time on Money Talks, gang. I know you think I do. I know you think I'm online 24/7, just doing Money Talks, tweeting away. But no, alas, I actually do real work. And a couple of the things that I've been working on for almost a year now are how do we make the Abra app easier for things that people are actually trying to do today in crypto, but are incredibly hard. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that we have been working really hard to figure out how to make DeFi really easy to use and accessible via the existing Abra app. So if you look at our competitors like Coinbase and others, they make you download a different app and use a different wallet to access DeFi. It's incredibly complicated. We've figured out how to create an experience that will completely reinvent the way people engage with DeFi. Now, why do you care about that? Well, there's a lot of staking pools out there that can offer you. My prediction, as I mentioned last week on Money Talks, is ETH 2.0 staking is probably going to go to like 10 or 11% after the upgrade, right, to proof of stake. There's a whole bunch of DeFi liquidity pools that are offering at any given time 20, 30% rewards. Now, these are very high risk investments, and so therefore we don't use them to generate yield in Abra Earn today. But many of you would like to invest in those DeFi pools directly, and Abra over the next several months is going to make it possible for you on a curated basis to invest directly in those pools without having to understand how MetaMask works. Super cool. With NFTs, if you've ever tried to buy an NFT, if you're an Abra user, okay, we call this inside of Abra MetaMask madness. Willie, our head of engineering, coined this phrase. So basically, you have to install MetaMask on Chrome. You have to buy Ethereum on Abra, move it over to MetaMask, which you can't do unless you're buying like $1,000 because the gas fees are so high. You have to figure out how to integrate OpenSea with MetaMask. It's insane, right? And there's like 20 steps you have to go through. Well, what if you could use the existing Abra wallet to buy and collect those NFTs without leaving the Abra app with one click? Abra figures out how to make the gas fees much cheaper. use other networks where it makes sense, and hide all of that complexity in the background. So that's coming to Abra, and it's all going to use CPRX. We'll come back to that in a second. What about gaming? This is something I want to get into in a moment with Julian. I'm really excited about this, something that he and I have worked on for many, many years. But, I think gaming is going to be one of the biggest features of CPRX and even Abra wallets over time. Okay. And CPRX is going to power all of this. So I've told you in many, many shows over the last few weeks that CPRX is at the heart of everything we're doing at Abra. And I'm not kidding. Right, all of this is going to be powered by CPRX, and we are completely committed to this program. Okay, Priya, Cole, Deepak, you guys are awesome. You guys are working like insane amount of hours, and we love you for what you're doing. I'm going to let you get back to it, and thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. Actually, why don't you stick around, and we may bring you back on for some questions, but I want to get to Julian. Julian Hardy is the managing director and the founder of the Crypto Banking Alliance. Julian is a longtime friend. I don't know if you're there and ready, Julian. We're going to bring him on in a moment here. Julian has been helping us get this thing going. So there he is. How you doing, Julian?
Very good. Live and direct from Switzerland.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on Money Talks this week.
Yeah,
Great to be here.
Good to see you, bud. So how's the weather in Switzerland? A lot of snow?
Yeah, it's not a lot of snow, but it's as you'd expect for a February, March in Switzerland. So
yeah. Well, given this kind of sad state of affairs in Eastern Europe, I've chosen to broadcast from my citadel in the moon. And I'll come back when sanity rules, which I don't know how long that's going to take. But so I assume you heard the updates from the team listening in. Really cool stuff. So give us a couple of highlights on what's been going on with the Alliance. What's happening? I'm getting a lot of questions about: are we doing exchange listings? Are we seeing other grants? Just give us a couple of highlights.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, it's a bit noisy here. I'm in the middle of a hotel, but there's a lot going on with Crypto Banking Alliance. We are expanding the team, so new members of the team being added every month. I just want to talk about some of the things that people care about the most. Firstly, obviously listings on new exchanges. I want to let people know that we have more and more resources devoted to listings and getting CPRX on new exchanges. I don't want to get into what those exchanges may or may not be and what the possible timing is, but I want to tell everyone that we are absolutely committed on getting CPRX onto as many of the tier 1 exchanges this year. And we do have a lot of resources dedicated to it. But at the end of the day, a lot of this comes down to the exchanges themselves, and they'll tell us what the timing is for launching that. But when we are live on those new exchanges, a lot of the features that you see already being announced here within Abra will also transfer to those exchanges. So, we will have staking live on Abra first. We'll get a little experience from it, and then we'll introduce staking on those exchanges as well. So that's listings.
By the way, one thing about communities, right? So I noticed that there's a lot of different geographic and language-based communities now. Can you mention that before we get into some other stuff?
Yeah. So I really want to thank all of our moderators and social admins who give enormous amounts of their time to supporting CPRX in the various Telegram chat channels that we have. We now have 3 separate groups. So we have the original English language speaking group, which is really well supported by Mario, by Sean, by Am, Ernesto, and James. So they're, some of our top moderators who are doing an amazing job. They're almost always online, particularly the likes of Mario, who's now affectionately known to the group as Super Mario. We have a Turkish language group, which was started by Ebu.
These are all volunteers, right? These are all volunteers.
These are people who are absolutely committed to the CPRX cause and approached us and said, look, we really want to start a local language group to support other users for whom English language wasn't their main language. And we want to be able to give them direct support and information. We also have now an official Korean language speaking group, which was started by Lock and Lock. And if other people are interested in starting other local language groups, then please feel free to approach us. We have community at cryptoperx.com. Send us an email. We'll validate you. We like to know, who our official moderators are and a little bit about you. But then beyond that, we will support you in starting an official local language group.
Yep. Awesome. And
so in terms of
what about other grants?
Yeah, so we are talking to several other partners, and we will be making other grants this year. I want to talk a bit about some of the other projects that are going on, which will lead to grants. We've always said that we have these other projects that are ongoing. In my mind, two of the biggest projects are with credit card partners. So we have one with a global credit card partner, one with a credit card partner in Latin America. And so we'll have some grants around that so they can drive their own rewards programs alongside those credit cards. Gaming, you mentioned. So gaming is something that's in our heritage. You and I, back in the day, we conquered gaming, skill-based gaming with prize play. When it was just
you got to tell people about prize play. Explain what prize play was, and because I think it's actually coming around again in crypto, and I think you're going to see a lot of these kind of prize-based games take root in the crypto world.
Absolutely. So back in the day, before there was the iOS, when it was Java handsets, we successfully launched on most of the major carriers around the world a concept called prize play, where you could play these super cool games, things like Monopoly and a bunch of other games. We had Star Trek, etc. And you could play these on your mobile connected to your Verizon network. And they were skill-based games, and you would win real rewards, and you could
so to put this in
real money.
Put this in context for people. This is pre-iPhone, pre-Android. Remember the for those of you in Asia or Europe, it was probably the candy bar style phones. In the US, it was probably the flip phones. And most of you could have ringtones and wallpaper, but for a couple of million people, you could actually play games on these phones. And we had a company called Sonari, which actually led to a lot of the ideas that became Abra, that would allow you to play games and earn points in the games, which we called Bling, and you could share the point system across all the games. And we actually even developed a kind of a proprietary smart contract platform to do this across all the games. Obviously, there was no Ethereum or Bitcoin at the time. And, I'm seeing a lot of interest now. I know we get approached at Abra, and I'm hearing that, Alliance as well, that there's a lot of interest now in these kind of not only the play to earn games, but, either traditional gambling and lotteries or some of the skill with prize gaming that's really popular in Europe, for example.
Yeah, totally. So as I said, gaming is our legacy. We were I like to think we were the godfathers of some of what you see today in mobile gaming, back in the day when there were no cookies for mobile, et cetera. And it is coming back, and we're going to take our experience in mobile gaming, and we're going to launch some of those prize play initiatives back into CPRX programs.
Awesome.
So there's several discussions ongoing right now, and I think what we're doing is we're just looking for the killer app for how to tie in CPRX. So we've got the credit cards, we've got gaming going on, we've got new partner conversations going on as well with other potential partners to drive distribution. There's a lot of marketing, and it's an exciting time. So, but awesome. This is, I want to remind people, this is a long, well thought out roadmap for CPRX. So, this isn't going to happen in the next month or so, and it doesn't need to. Right? This is a program that's going to be deployed over the next 5 years.
Yeah, and to be clear, I mean, I don't know how you guys look at it, but we honestly don't really pay much attention to the price of CPRX right now at all. We're really focused on the long-term value.
Yeah.
We didn't expect, to be blunt, the price to be that high out of the gate. We probably expected it to be closer to where it is now, but we have no impact on that. And our take is that ultimate value will come from its integration and utility in a lot of these cool apps that we're talking about. I know cards is a big topic. You want to touch on that for a minute?
Yeah. So as I said, credit cards. So we are already way down the line with a global credit card provider, and we expect to be able to launch that program in the summer. We also have another card provider in Latin America. It's not easy. It's not difficult, rather, to figure out how we will easily integrate the CPRX program with those card providers, where you'll have an interchange between their own card programs and CPRX. Again, we can't announce the names of those companies right now, but very exciting, particularly the global card program. So
awesome. All right, Julian, I know you're traveling. I really appreciate you giving us the time. I'm going to answer some questions. If you want to stick around in the background, if you got to go, it's all good. But we'll get to some questions after Natalie's update, because we're already 40 minutes into this. I can't even believe it's been 40 minutes. Time's flying by. Julian Hardy, founding managing director of the Crypto Banking Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us. We will try to get to some questions. I'm going to move a little closer to the screen here so I can get in on some charts and updates. All right. So thanks to the Abra team and Julian for that. As you can see, CPRX is an incredibly versatile, valuable tool. And there's a lot of exciting new features coming in the near future. All right, so stay tuned for that. So no matter what crypto you use on Abra, CPRX, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, we want to make Abra the safest, easiest platform to use. So here's a quick look at how simple it is to make trades with Abra.
Trading on Abra is easy. Just click the exchange button. Tap the source you'd like to trade, tap on what you'd like to trade it for, type in the amount, then click trade. Tap, type, trade. Totally easy on Abra.
Okay, welcome back. It's unfortunately it's still a wild week in Russia and Ukraine, and my heart goes out to everyone in the Ukraine. I'm in regular touch via my team with a lot of our folks based there and their families, and we just wish a speedy end to the violence. Although it doesn't seem like that may happen anytime soon. But of course, there's a lot happening in other news. The president's cryptocurrency executive order. We had State of the Union this week. Elizabeth Warren is still going nuts as it relates to crypto. And luckily, we have people like Senator Loomis in Wyoming who are countering the FUD and the nonsense. But more importantly, our awesome Natalie Brunell is here with this week's in-depth Bitcoin analysis. Hey, Natalie. How you doing?
Hi, Bill. It's great to see you. I'm reporting here from Las Vegas, where I'm speaking at the Unconfiscatable Conference all weekend. And I think the title of the conference is actually very relevant to my analysis this week, because the unconfiscatable nature of Bitcoin is catapulting it to a place under an international spotlight amid the war between Russia and Ukraine. So let's get into some of that. Over the last week, we saw Bitcoin surge past $40,000 and even hit 45K briefly, which was a massive green candle that I think took many traditional investors by surprise. But for Bitcoiners, certainly myself, I think the rally is because of the geopolitical issues that are playing out and causing the world to see the very concerning fractures in the traditional financial system that we're also accustomed to. And it also shows why we need an alternative money outside the control of any government. Now, the United States has tried to strangle Russia economically through sanctions by targeting Russia's financial institutions and their ability to use the international wire system SWIFT. And we had some mainstream media outlets giving negative press to Bitcoin this week, saying that Russia would subvert the sanctions through cryptocurrency. But I want to share a few notes on all of this. First, some of the sanctions did have an immediate impact in the form of crashing the ruble and causing bank runs and shortages on how much people could withdraw from banks, and causing the central bank in Russia to hike interest rates from 9.5% to 20% to cushion some of the blow. The result was the ruble fell around 30%, but this actually isn't as bad as the ruble has tumbled in previous geopolitical crises. Back in 1998, it fell more than 80%. And I think one of the reasons the ruble didn't fall as hard this time is the sanctions specifically carve out oil transactions, first of all, which is really the only thing that would hurt Russia. But also, Russia's financial situation makes it evident they have been preparing for this situation and this type of invasion for years. They have been de-dollarizing and moving their reserves to assets not under the control of the United States. More than 20% of their $600 billion in reserves is now in gold, and they hold another huge chunk in foreign assets. They've also been conducting trade deals outside the dollar system, which should be very alarming to the United States since our superpower status around the world is based on the US dollar being the petrodollar and the global reserve currency. So what does this all have to do with Bitcoin? Well, I think Michael Saylor summed it up best in a tweet this week. When the banks stopped working, people turned to Bitcoin. Bitcoin was fetching more than 50,000 US dollars per coin in Russia, and it's actually at an all-time high in rubles due to the inflation. In Ukraine, we've also seen donations pouring in for both the refugees in Bitcoin as well as for the Ukrainian government, which solicited cryptocurrency donations to support the war effort. And they've collected more than $20 million worth of Bitcoin so far. So Bitcoin is serving as not only a hedge, but more importantly, a safe haven due to its censorship-resistant, permissionless, borderless, and unconfiscatable nature. Now, a few weeks ago, I thought it might be possible for Russia to adopt Bitcoin amid the crisis, but I'm actually much more bearish on that prospect now because, like China, Russia announced it's working on its own digital currency, and it's been operating deals on its own SWIFT system. So I think it's safe to believe the political leaders there want ultimate monetary control, which they would not have through Bitcoin. Still, Putin has recognized his country's competitive advantage in Bitcoin mining because of their energy surplus. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see which direction Russia heads with Bitcoin over the coming years. Meanwhile, and more importantly, I think this war is showing that America's monopoly on the global financial system is weakening. And I think it makes it all the more critical for American leaders to consider Bitcoin for our reserves and promote its adoption. And just before I wrap up, I do want to touch on Fed Chair Jerome Powell's his speech this week. You may have seen it. It was another bullish event, I think, for Bitcoin. Powell did not spark any taper tantrums, and he appears to be walking back just how aggressive the first rate hikes will be, which is not a surprise given not only the war, but the fact that our economy has slowed down. Now remember, we have all-time high inflation and all-time low interest rates, but the Fed seems to be more concerned once again with spooking the markets during all this chaos than with actually reducing the balance sheet. And if more liquidity is green-lighted, which I think it will be, that's always great for Bitcoin. But the most important part of his talk was that he said point blank, there can be more than one reserve currency. Many Bitcoiners, when they heard that, came right out on Twitter to remark that that was probably the most important thing he or any Fed chair has said. And of course, if you're a Bitcoiner, there is only one digital asset that qualifies it for global reserve status, and that is BTC. So all in all, a very interesting week. I probably went a little long, but until next week, that's my update. Bill?
All right. Thank you, Natalie. That was an awesome update as always. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week in Austin for South by Southwest. We'll talk more about Austin in a moment. So we're going to we're actually going to skip some of the news updates today. We'll come back to that if we have some time. I want to really give you as much time as I can for questions. I promised we'd get into some CPRX questions. So, of course, you all know via our CPRX discussion that Abra is a lot more than just a platform for trading and borrowing crypto. As we've been mentioning, you can earn interest on the funds you hold in Abra. And so here's how that works. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to Money Talks. All right, so we've got a lot of questions on the live stream. I'm seeing them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. So I'm going to take a few of those questions. I'm seeing a lot of comments about third parties trying to fraud people out of crypto. Let me address that first and head on. If you see a fake page representing Abra, if you see a fake Twitter account, if you see a fake Instagram account, please send it to support@abra.com and let us know. And we appreciate those of you trying to help police this. Unfortunately, there are a lot of some bad actors out there who do try to take advantage, and we do try to get those web pages or fake accounts taken down. Abra's Instagram and Facebook accounts are verified. So you should be only commenting or seeing feeds that have that blue check mark. We're not verified on Twitter yet, but we're working on that. So please be vigilant about that and let us know if you see any fake pages or accounts out there, and we'll get them taken down. Phishing emails is another growing problem. Abra will never ask you to send crypto to an address via an email or an Instagram. It only happens via the app itself. Okay. If you have any concerns, you can go inside the app, click on support in the menu. There's a chat bubble in the support that gives you live real-time support. Okay. So please, be vigilant and be careful and don't fall for any of these phishing attempts. Okay, so let's get into CPRX questions. I'm looking at the feed here. Very cool. I'm not. There's no way I'm going to get to all of these questions. Let me deal with the top questions. We did talk about CPRX staking. You saw the demo a few minutes ago. Those of you joining late, at the end, when the show is over, you can go back to the beginning of the video and you can see the demo we showed on CPRX staking. Okay. So yeah, and check that out. It's really cool. Not only will you be earning 3% to start, right, inside of Abra Earn on CPRX, you're going to see for each of the other cryptos, Bitcoin, dollars, Ethereum, Cardano, et cetera, you're going to see the bonus payout for CPRX directly in Abra Earn, because today you don't see that. So that's really cool. Great job by the team. And they've done, it's super exciting. I've been playing with it. It's awesome. Okay. So I got a bunch of questions. I'm getting a lot of questions about gas fees for withdrawing CPRX to like a MetaMask or a third-party wallet. Look, CPRX is Ethereum based. We don't control that. The Crypto Banking Alliance does. And so when you move CPRX on chain, you have to pay gas fees. And right now, those gas fees are very, very high. I hope that in the future, other chains will be possible, potentially, using Polygon and other things. Right now, it's not. And so, as long as you're inside of Abra, of course, you're not paying the gas fees. But if you're going to move outside of Abra, you are paying the fees. Okay. The second question I'm getting a lot is trading limits and the suspension of sells. So right now, you are able to buy CPRX in unlimited quantities. And we do have sells currently limited to very tiny amounts with limits. Once market orders go live, right, and we showed you, again, if you're joining late, you can scroll back to the beginning of the show and see what we showed you, all the details around market orders. We will have no limits on anything. So no limits on CPRX trading, CPRX buys, CPRX sells, and you can basically do any amounts. And then a few weeks after that, we'll have limit orders where you can actually set the price. So you can say, hey, I want to sell, 1,000 CPRX once it hits $1. Right. And you can just enter that trade and leave it and forget about it. Okay. All right. There are no limits on withdrawals for CPRX right now. The only thing is you have to have enough gas fees enough Ethereum or CPRX to cover the gas fee. If you don't, there's no way to do the withdrawal. That has nothing to do with Abra. That's the way Ethereum works. So let me repeat that. Abra is not blocking or limiting withdrawals at all on CPRX. Okay, you simply have to have enough CPRX to cover the gas fees, just like with any other Ethereum-based contract. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Seeing a lot of positive comments on market orders and limit orders, so I'm sure the Abra team is really excited to hear that feedback. It is super cool. We pride ourselves at Abra on implementing features in a way that makes it much easier than our competition. And you know, it is what it is, right? So I think that that's a big advantage for Abra versus the competitors. Okay, so let's see. So we got a few more questions here. Yeah. So again, CPRX buys are online. You can buy in unlimited quantities. CPRX sells are currently offline and will be back online once market orders launch very, very soon. And there'll be no limits as well on the amount that you can buy or sell. Currently, you can buy in unlimited amounts, and soon you'll be able to sell in unlimited amounts too, although I'm only buying right now. Okay, and so again, the gas fees as they relate to Ethereum, relate to CPRX, et cetera, are all driven by the Ethereum markets. And again, staking for CPRX will be available in March, in the next probably week to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks at the most, but definitely in March. Okay. So somebody mentioned that it's in April. It's not April, it's in March for staking. Okay. And we showed you that demo earlier in the show. So if you're just joining, again, scroll back. Let's see. So many questions coming in, I can barely keep up. So I'm seeing a lot of repeat questions. So hopefully you're all paying attention to my answers. And so I'm not gonna talk about any more CPRX trading because I've already covered that. Yeah, if you have support specific questions, you're going to get a faster response by going to the support menu in the Abra app and clicking on the bubble to ask your question in real time. Paul asks, Abra's first year allotment is 426 million CPRX. How many of those have been distributed? Actually, it was 426 million for the first year, plus 150 million for the original airdrop. I don't think we used all 150 million, and we certainly have not used all 426 million. So out of that 576-ish million, I think we've got maybe 15% left, but that doesn't account for Abra buying back, which is probably going to happen as well. And then people using CPRX to pay for limit orders and some of the NFT stuff we're doing. So I suspect that our first year allotment is going to increase based upon people using CPRX, but we seem to be in pretty good shape there. I'm not worried about that, Paul. So thank you for the question. Let's see. So, bunch of birthday wishes. Yes, my birthday was 2 days ago. I turned 20 2 days ago. So thank you all for the very kind birthday wishes. I appreciate that. And let's see what else. As I said, earn staking for CPRX coming very, very soon in March. And we wanted to get the integration into the earn screen correct, which is why we delayed it slightly. So you saw in the demo that now there's 2 columns in Abra Earn, one that shows you for Bitcoin how much Bitcoin you're earning, and one that shows you how much extra CPRX you're earning by using Abra Earn at the same time. So it's all integrated into one super easy to use screen now. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to call it a day because we're going on an hour now. Thank you again to the Abra team and to Julian for participating today. Let's see. I want to take a good one. Okay. So is Abra planning to buy back CPRX? So we are looking at that. We don't need to buy back CPRX right now. As I mentioned with the earlier question, we have enough. But we are totally fine to buy back CPRX if needed to meet our obligations for the program without necessarily going into next year's allotments. Okay. I want to talk about next week. So I'm off to South by Southwest in Austin. Natalie's going to be joining me, and we're going to be broadcasting together live from Austin. We actually have a couple of really cool guests that all of you in crypto know. So we're going to have kind of a celebrity live money talks next week from Austin. Really excited about that. And we'll probably gonna get into mostly Bitcoin and everything happening with kind of world affairs and world events. So stay tuned for an awesome live event next week from Austin, Texas. All right. I'm all talked out and I got to get back to work. So thank you so much to all of you for all of your support. As you can tell from the team's participation, we put a lot of work into everything we do at Abra, these next generation features, and of course, the Money Talk show itself. And we will see you next week. Stay safe. I hope everything happening in Eastern Europe comes to an end very soon and we get back to peace. But in the meantime, stay safe, take care, and we'll see you next week. Peace, everyone.